Hello everybody, this is going to be my first model review and also the start of my YouTube channel. And what model best to set it off with? An LTM 1650. This is one of the models that I just recently purchased. In the Stevenson livery. Yeah, you gotta love that orange. But real quick, let me give you a nice little snippet of me and what I like to do. This is my hobby here, one of them. I collect 150 scale cranes. I started back for about close to 2 years ago, I think it was. And I'm up to about 11 cranes, some trucks. And I'm gonna go ahead and review some of those also. I know we've seen all of the review videos and everything else, and of course some of the videos actually get you to buy a lot of these cranes. But I don't see some of the cranes that maybe I like being looked at or reviewed, so I started my own. So real quick, this is the LTM 1650. Let's start with some of the things I love about them. Some of the things that are a little bit quirky. Some of the things I may have fixed. Some of the additions I had. And an overall review. All right, first off, these outriggers are great. We all know about the droopy, saggy outriggers. When they did this, genius. I am just still trying to get some of my 1500s, especially the 1500s, and 1350 outriggers to kind of straighten up. I'm not sure if anybody else does it, but here in those models, I use zip ties. They show, but they hold them pretty straight. So if anybody has any other ideas, just put them in the comments. I actually take it and wrap it around and it'll squeeze. Because what it is there's a bottom piece that sags on those. And it pretty much keeps it. I've tried glue and everything else, but it doesn't seem to stay. Any ideas, let me know. But these outriggers here are perfect. No sagging, no drooping. Sturdy. Love them. One of the things that I noticed too when I started to model is the outriggers pads would slide on the spreader plates all the time. You can't move the model, you can't, turn the boom around. You couldn't do much without it just keeps sliding off the pads, the spreader plates. So what I did was, Amazon, my friend, I bought some rubber what is it, rubber sheets, and I cut them in squares. So right underneath the outrigger pad and between the pad and the spreader plate, rubber. So now, not going anywhere. If you're on a table that has a slippery surface underneath, you can take those same sheets, rubber sheets, and cut them in the size of your spreader plate, or just enough to be within the dimensions of the spreader plate, so that once it's underneath, the spreader plate doesn't move. So now you have a model that's not going anywhere. You can move it, twist it, whatever it is that you want to do. It's not going anywhere. You can actually work with the crane with no problems. So, next thing. Love the pistons. This model's up. Way up. So, some of the other models, what I used to do is I would buy some wooden blocks, and I put my models up so that I don't even have to put the pistons out. Because some of us may have gone through it, which is these here get stripped somehow, some way, and guess what? Now you have a model or pistons that just keep falling out, or whatever the case may be. You can't even clear it. You can't even have any ground clearance. So that's what I do. But these have held up. These have held up pretty well. The other thing is the rotation. Once you get the new model out the box, some of them are like super stiff. I mean, super stiff. I mean, you can't even move them. So what I have done, and this has been almost all of my models, almost right out of the box, if they're stiff like that, or even too loose, is I'll go underneath and loosen the screw and take this off, this whole section here off, and I'll go ahead and I'll take anything with any kind of lubrication, and I'll lubricate it around the seal, the touching points, and then I tighten it back up. And trust me, it's like night and day. It's smooth. You feel no contact with the die cast, and it's not loose. The other thing is some of them are very loose. See, this one I haven't tightened up all the way, but you see that's the little play that you get, but you can tighten it up a little more. But this here is good. There's no stiffness. I can turn this. It'll almost turn by itself. It'll almost free spin. So that's one of the things you can do if you haven't already, which helps out a big deal. We all know we're not one to really return, well, I'm not one to really return models unless it's like a serious defect that I can't even really use the model. Because most of my models I get shipped overseas, so it takes a while to get here and it would take a long time to get back. So I'm pretty handy. So if it's something small, for instance, right in here where the key and the winch goes, right in there, mine was too far in and I didn't realize it. I kept putting my my tool in to try to, spin it, and it just seems like it wouldn't turn. I thought something was wrong. Till I realized that, guess what? It was too far in. I was taking tissue and putting it in here. Then I said, hold on. Maybe, because with some of the other models, let's see if I could go around. On the other side, there is another hole. On these, there's no hole. There is no hole on the other side. So what I did was I took needle nose pliers, the smallest I could get, and I took it and I gently pulled it back out just enough so that now I can turn it. No problem. Perfect. Let's get these back real quick. There's another one. So my variable ballast, variable ballast, that's what it is. That's variable base. See, I'm learning. The more I buy these cranes, I learn more and more about them in the real life. So the pistons here are good. Of course, one on the other side is very loose. I haven't found a way to kind of stiffen these pistons. Was thinking maybe there's some sort of kind of rubbery glue a little bit that doesn't really stick, but more so will cause friction. So haven't tried it yet. I'll probably use one of my older models to test that out with, and then maybe put a little bit on there so that it creates more of a friction. Because I don't know if I'm going to be taking all of this apart. I'm pretty mechanically inclined, but I don't know if I'm going to be taking all of that off. But other than that, it worked fine. This one here is the tighter one. The other side, loose, very loose, but they work. That's one of the things I love about this model. I display my models in a case, cabinet case, glass display case, and it's tight. The one that I have this one in is pretty tight, and this variable ballast comes in handy because I can't keep it in here like this. I can't keep it in with the ballast in the out position like this. I have to put them in, and I think just in real life, it's the same concept. It's so that you can be in a tighter space and maneuver, and it actually is true to life because I have to put it in the case like this just for it to even fit and turn. So that's genius. Love that about the model. While we're back here, I know you guys notice I have a serious amount of counterweights. So I believe I can't even remember, but a good amount of these come with the model. I believe it's 8, not sure, 8. Yeah, about 8, I think, or something. But I went to YCC and I purchased the extra 5 pounds. So I think they give you 4 or 5 pounds. Here we go, 5 pounds, 5-ton counterweights. So that's what you see here. I gotta figure it out because one of these are, all right, let me see. Yeah, one of these are missing. But yeah, When I tell you this thing can hold some weight now, it can hold some weight. Maybe I can demonstrate it one day. All right. Let's see if I can get this situated real quick so you guys can see. Okay, so the luffing bridle, this system here, okay, I know you guys saw the review on Creighton's, etc. These pins are definitely on the loose side when it comes to holding this thing in here and putting it in. It's difficult to put them in there. But I think if you have bigger pins in your collection, then I would suggest you put them in there. This one here is pretty good, but just as I did that, it loosened and almost came out. So be mindful of that. It is very, very loose. I actually did put this on a luffing jib. I have a LTM 15 black luffing jib, which goes with this pretty good. In real life, I believe it's a red one or an orange to match. But to be honest with you, I wish I could get a red and it goes with this, but the black looks good. Very good. I know I got mine early and I'm glad I did because I didn't realize how these things are just gone. gone. Can't get them. And good luck. So what I would suggest too is if by any chance they don't happen to come up with 1650 luffing jib, which WSI, I think you should. All these 1600s that are coming out, I mean, tons of them, just left and right. All these different liveries and everything. I think they should come out with a luffing jib for this. I mean, especially knowing all the rest of them are sold out. So, I mean, you would definitely get the sales. I can tell you that. For those who didn't get them, wanted them, you know, and definitely you'll get a lot more people buying the 1650s because you can get the luffing jib with it. Just my opinion. But this is the upgraded version. I had a Mammut when it first came out. I got a Mammut one. That version, those stumped again. Here we go. These here, the sheaves, they jump off. They jump all the way off. It is a nightmare to try to get some of these back. Long story short, I'll do it on the review of that model, but the 1500. Mine got totally unraveled. And when I tell you I had to redo it all over, that was a process. But I learned how to reeve the luffing bridle. So this here, these sheaves, perfect. There's more space in between so they don't just hop off. It's not as, I say, stiff and hard to move as maybe 1500 luffing bridle, to where, you know, you have to pull it out and pull it and pull it and try to wind it and pull it at the same time. And it's so stiff. You need so much resistance. I mean, it helps too, I think, if you have a fully a full luffing jib. You know how long those things can get, and they're pretty heavy. So much that a 1500 will tip over because it, I don't know, I guess it doesn't have that much weight to it. But you can tip one over, but it will come out with pretty good, pretty easily. What I do is I do it like they do the real crane, which is take your main line, run it up to one of the sheaves, or the one single sheave that's on the luffing part of the jib, and run it back down right here and tie it off. And it's a little bit of a process, but it takes time. The same way the real one would take twice as amount of time. So this takes time. And if you do it that way, you do it right, you don't have the jumping off of the sheaves and everything else. Everything stays tight, and you save yourself some stress on having to redo something falling. Trust me. Take the time, take your main line, go up to the sheave that's on the luffing part of the jib, bring it back down, tie it off, and then what you do is you take one winch, one key, put it in your winch, take the other key, and as you loosen, you tighten, loosen and tighten, loosen and tighten. Just keep doing it until this here gets to where you can connect it with the luffer. Then you go ahead and put your screws in, lock it in. Then it'll take all the weight. Then your luffing bridle, it'll take all the weight. So now you have tension. Then you can just go ahead and release this, wind it back in, tighten this up, and you're good to go. Save yourself all the other headache of trying to, loosen, hold, loosen, bring it all the way to there with your hand, which normally is going to loosen. And guess what? You got sheaves that are off. You got the rope that's off the sheaves. And now you got to try to put things back together. Now it helps to keep it tight. So that being said, works very good with the luffer. While we over here, what else is there? These here fall off pretty easily. I haven't glued them on. I won't do that. I thought about it. Some putty, yeah. But, I mean, for the most part, if it keeps falling out, you got to find something to kind of put it on there. Other than that, everything else back here, it is a pain to try to get that pin in there, and connecting the hoses. But once it's done, it's pretty good. I haven't, and I probably won't unless, somewhere down the line I may do it. But there's an auxiliary witch in here, which is still got the tape on it, but you got one back there to use. So overall back here, pretty good. Pretty good. No complaints at all. The pins, some of them loose, but they stay in place. All right, let's move on to the main boom. No problems with the main boom. These here, what I do is instead of using the tool that comes with it, I find, I have tools of my own to kind of just go in there and do it that fit nice and snug so that you don't have to keep, something similar to this where it has a handle. It's quick, it's easy. You find yourself 3 tools, you're good to go with the whole model. Main boom, perfect. Holds everything. Nothing loose, really. Not too bad. The paint, oh my gosh, the paint on this is beautiful. Um, I don't know if the camera's doing it any justice because this here, ooh, is nice. So that brings us to these. Oh boy, these here. They are good, but they are a headache too. Um, the rope on all of the strings are perfect. Nice and sturdy, strong. It doesn't fray like the other ones. Very good rope. I mean, that's another thing I would suggest is go to YCC, get all the ropes. I mean, all of them. They're not too expensive, but if you can, get almost every size. If you have a good amount of models in your collection, I would suggest get one for each model so that when you go and, for instance, something gets snagged, you'll start to see them fraying after a while, fraying or whatever. And next thing you know, pop. And then what? Now you got to go ahead and hopefully you didn't reeve a lot of rope. But all that rope is pretty much gone. You'll have to pull more rope out, pull more rope out. So I would suggest to get some, because I've actually changed out some of the ropes on a few of my models because they were too thin, they weren't strong enough, they popped, they frayed. I mean, it got to the point where I don't think I had enough in there. So, YCC, your friend. So these here are nice, very tight. Look at the tension. There's tension on that. Yeah. Only takes about a few clicks, and I mean it's tight. It's holding. You do have to be mindful, and I'll see if you can get it. But let me see. These do come off of here, but unlike some of the other ones, you can actually get it back on. You can't, I don't know if you can see it, but there's the rope there, and it goes up under, and then the inside to here. I just hope for like some of the other models that it does not get caught up in here. That's my one, please don't happen. Don't get caught up in there. So I hope they have and on the spindle, the walls on the side are like way high. I hope so, because I don't want that jumping. I just hope that they don't ever jump off of the spindle inside of here. I think you can probably take it off. Yeah, there's, oh no, hold on, let me see something. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest with you, it's a one and done thing. Not sure how this even comes off. It almost seems like it's casted in one piece, but it's definitely not going to be removed. So with that being said, I just hope these don't get raveled up. So be careful. I'm careful just because I noticed that. But this will come off. But this is not so bad to put back on. But other than that, they're perfect. These guys work good. The boom section, no complaints. No complaints. These are not stiff. These are loose. Everything fits pretty well. They move smooth. The locking pins, everything's good on this model. Cab detail. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So let's go up to the hook block. The hook blocks on these models, the 1650, are, oh man, very nice. These are nice and springy. You can just put it right in there. Clip it right in there, no problem. These here, these are for show. To be honest with you, these are definitely for show. These are definitely for show. I mean, they may keep some weight on there, which is good, and you do need it. But to be honest with you, it takes nothing for these to come right off. So what I would do would be to put some putty or something. I mean, if you're really gonna be working with it, I would just put some putty on there just to keep it to stay. But it looks good. It looks good. It definitely looks good. It keeps a little bit of weight on there, but they come off so easily. And the small hooks that are on there, let's see, the small hooks that are on there, they break off. I've had some break off, and luckily I can find it to glue it back on. The tying off point, you have to be a microscientist or something to put it in there. And don't ask me how I did it, but I think I probably cussed a lot of times doing it. But again, YCC has these things for this, but let me tell you, the reason why I probably didn't put one on here is just too small. It's just way too small to try to put a pin in there and everything else. So I was able to get it through that hole, and it's gonna probably stay there for a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna reread this for a little bit. But works good. Holds a lot of weight. I can put so much more weight on here than this. So much more. I have other models. I also have other loads. So I'll be back and forth on the channel with more and more models with some loads. And I hope you guys subscribe to my new channel. I hope it's informative. It's a new channel, so sometimes I know we all scrolling through YouTube just trying to get more and more. We crane heads. We're pretty much crane heads. So we're looking for more videos, something new, because we probably watch the same videos like umpteen times, and just looking for different reviews on the models that we have, or we may have, or we want. So it's not too much out there, you know. Everything's on the European side, you know, when it comes to liveries and stuff like that, or, you know, overseas. So this is an American model. This is American livery right here. So you'll notice also that my other models are, I'm a digging and rigging fan, so thank you for watching my channel, and hope to see you guys again. Subscribe, join the rest of the crane head crew, and let's boom up.